Can the other regional players that have military assets, Iran, Egypt, Turkey, Hezbollah, force a two-state solution, or prevent the total eradication, the total elimination of the Palestinian people from Gaza?
I think we are on the road to a regional war. We may have some pauses over the next few months, but I think inevitably this dispute will be resolved on the regional level. And what I mean by that is that when this ceasefire ends, I don't see any evidence for a new strategic end state other than the elimination of Gaza and its population from Israel. That's where we're headed. And when the ceasefire ends, I think we will see a resumption of the kind of thing that we saw in northern Gaza, in Khan Yunis, and in southern Gaza. When that commences, I think you will see a more defiant alliance of states in the region that will begin to coalesce into something that eventually will result in a regional war directed at Israel. The real question is, will Israel survive that? My greatest concern from the beginning was always that this would move beyond proxies meaning Hezbollah, Hamas, to nation-state conflicts. And I think it will. I know that others have looked at this and they dismiss it out of hand. Again, they continue to view the Arabs through the lens of the 1970s and 80s. They view the Muslim world through what I think is an anachronistic lens. They don't see how profoundly the region has changed and its readiness to fight and, if necessary, destroy Israel.
The EU, according to our friend Alistair Crook, has attempted to bribe Egypt and Jordan with tens of millions if they will take Palestinian refugees, and both told the EU leadership to go take a hike. What is the EU's game here?
Well, the EU doesn't have a game. The EU is another loose coalition that probably isn't going to survive over the next few years. They've got so many internal problems, contradictions. But in the short run, this is the globalist elite. And the globalist elite rules Western Europe and the United States. I don't think they're going to be with us too much longer. I think they're all going to be removed and replaced. We're not going to see a dramatic change overnight, but it's coming. And I think this is a last gasp effort to try and do what they've done successfully in the past, which is to bribe people in the region to cease and desist from attacking Israel, to abandon their co-religionists, brothers, whatever you want to call them, other Muslims in the region. I think those days are over. And I think that General Sisi knows that if he were to take the bribe and try to find some place to stash the unwanted Palestinian Arabs, he would not last long in Cairo. He would be removed. And I think all of the elites in the Arab states know that. They no longer have the option of either sitting it out or walking away from destruction of their Muslim brothers in Palestine. They've got to stick it out. And then, of course, you have Iran and Turkey. And the Iranians desperately want to avoid a war. But they know that if they want to be leaders in the Muslim world, they can't. The one man who understands this with greater clarity than anybody else is Erdogan. And he's set up a wonderful test for us and for the Israelis, and that's called the flotilla of humanitarian aid that I guess is now scheduled at some point this week to sail, I think Wednesday. And when will that arrive? Perhaps Friday. I don't know. But when it does, we're going to find out where things are really headed, because the Israelis have sworn not to admit that. And that's going to be a tough issue for us.
The flotilla, as I understand it, Colonel, is about 1,000 commercial and private ships. These are not military ships. And their goal is either to deliver aid to the Palestinians or to block imports coming to the Israelis. Do I have that right? Now, the last time this happened, the Israelis attacked and killed some of the Turkish operators of one boat. Now it's 1,000.
Well, I don't know about the blocking anything from going into Israeli ports. That's a new one on me. If somebody has thought that up, I don't think that's going to work very effectively. In fact, if that is done, that will give the Israelis the excuse they need to go after the whole flotilla.
Right.
And then the question is, what do we do? You know, we've got a fleet sitting out there in the Mediterranean. And are we simply going to stand by and watch it? Are we going to watch as the Israelis sink these vessels? For that matter, what will Erdogan's naval forces do? Will they watch it and do nothing? I don't think so. Again, I think this is a test for the Israelis, but it's a big test for Washington.